Trump spoke on levying the tariffs and what he's accomplished over the last 2 weeks, it seems like Trump has been in office at least for 6 months, to be honest with you. It seems like Trump has been in office for at least 6 months. These 2 weeks feel like 6 months. For some people, I know that y'all feeling some type of way because your mama got deported and he asked y'all if y'all wanted to keep the family together and get deported all together. The father said, no, I don't want to do that. He was really the one that called ICE on the mother and she don't know it because they got a hotline and he got $1,000 for it. All right. But Trump basically broke down what he's accomplished over this weekend, over the last few weeks, and he stood 10 toes down on tariffs on Canada, China, Mexico, and he's letting you know why he's implementing tariffs. Take a look. Check it out, y'all.
Thank you very much. So we had a very busy weekend. We got the 6 hostages out of Venezuela.
Reading super chats and cash apps.
Know. And they're very safe right now. They're home with their families. And we appreciate the hard work of a lot of people, including Rick Grinnell. We appreciate the cooperation from Venezuela. And we have some very happy people right now. Nobody thought that was going to happen. So they are home, they're safe, and they're with their families. That was a big one. Secretary of State Rubio is in Panama right now, and we're talking about the Panama Canal. What they've done is terrible. They violated the agreement. They're not allowed to violate the agreement. China's running the Panama Canal. That was not given to China. That was given to Panama foolishly. But they violated the agreement, and we're going to take it back, or something very powerful is going to happen. And as far as other things are concerned, as you know, we had a very busy weekend. We're dealing with Israel. We're dealing with Ukraine and Russia. We have meetings and talks scheduled with various parties, including Ukraine and Russia. And I think those discussions are actually going pretty well. The discussions on the Middle East with Israel and various and sundry other countries are progressing. Bibi Netanyahu's coming on Tuesday, and I think we have some very big meetings scheduled.
Mr. President, do you feel that Elon Musk is delivering on his promises to you? Do you feel he's doing a good job right now with
I do. I think Elon's doing a good job. He's a big cost cutter. Sometimes we won't agree with it and we'll not go where he wants to go, but I think he's doing a great job. He's a smart guy, very smart, and he's very much into cutting the budget of our federal government.
Mr. President.
We saw some retaliatory tariffs from Canada.
Say it?
We saw some retaliatory tariffs from Canada. There was a rider in the order. Are you planning to increase the tariffs against Canada?
That is correct. I did see Panama say they will not be a part of China anymore. So that has already started to happen. Hey, man, if we actually had a president last term that stood on business the way that Trump is standing on business, everything wouldn't be in shambles the way that it's in shambles right now.
Well, it could happen. If they do anything, we will. Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks. Did you know that? Canada does not allow banks to go in. If you think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a U.S. bank, they don't allow them to go in. Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street.
And that's the thing that people don't really take into consideration. It's that if you guys really started to see how one-sided some of this stuff is, and often at times I like to cite China, right? And China, ever since I've been a little boy, and me trying to study their culture, I've learned their language. I've learned how to speak Mandarin, not Cantonese. And understanding their cultural norms and exactly their one-child policy historically and how they do business. And if somebody was to open up a plant over there, Ford, Chrysler, GM, I specifically was highlighting what was going on over in China for the auto manufacturers, even though We allowed for them to be able to make parts and make money off of us, and we imported a lot of their products and their parts. They didn't allow for us to export at the same rate that we were importing. And if we decided to open up a business in these other countries, they would have very, very strict rules and laws that basically prevented American companies from being able to thrive, but they would then use them and steal their proprietary technology and then use it against them in order to continue to manufacture better products because they didn't have the technology, research, and development. They just had the workforce. And it's similar to what's happening in Canada. They restrict a lot of our products from going over there, which is one of the reasons, one of many, one of the reasons why we have such a massive trade deficit every single year with Canada. And so if things are that imbalanced for that long, it's not just based off of what's happening at the border. That's the cherry off top. That's the part that pushed you over the edge, right? If they don't even allow for us to export certain products there, but we allow for them to essentially export everything here into the United States of America. We import anything that they want to import as long as the market can bear it. How is that a fair deal? Basically, we're subsidizing their economy and multiple different economies across the not even the United States of America, across the world.
We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them. And this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent. Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada. And we're not going to allow that. And by the way, we have among the lowest numbers we've ever had of people crossing our border, the lowest numbers since my administration.
Mr. President,
and he just told you straight up, and this is one of the reasons that I love Trump. He don't mince words. He's not trying to make you feel good about it. He said, listen, this is retaliatory. Oh, you going to pay the price. You thought that I wasn't going to get back in office, and so you took advantage of us when Biden was in office. And you got to come and pay your taxes. You got to pay the piper. You got to pay the piper. Have you ever seen any of the gangster movies when the gangsters get out of jail after doing their time because they held it down and they didn't snitch and they did their time? And they say, okay, time is up. I want all of my streets back. I want all of my corners back. I want everything. And I'm taxing. Otherwise, everybody gonna suffer in here. That is basically what we're seeing. And he has no problem with telling you exactly what's going on. He said, listen, we don't get nothing out of exporting and importing and doing business with them over there. It's one-sided. We don't get nothing out of it. So how about we go ahead and play the game? They get everything out of us. We don't get nothing out of them. On the flip side, down at the southern border, they let all of these illegal migrants, they let people fly into their country and then cross over into the border. They never want to get their stuff together. We've been dealing with them, and the only thing they want to give us is avocados and tequila. Nah, we not playing that game. We not playing that game. Listen, we know that we going to have to deal with Taco Bell. Taco Bell is just something that we going to have to deal with. We're going to have to subsidize or substitute Taco Bell for Del Taco or whatever it is that y'all bringing over here. All you giving me is tequila, corn, and avocado? And you sending out over your people over here? And they got bad attitudes? Nah, we not doing that. We not going to do it. I heard that Mexico just bent the knee. We going to get to that. Don't worry about it.
So on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the Fed Chair Jerome Powell, he held rates. What's your reaction to him not changing the rates?
What did you say?
Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the Fed meeting was this week, he held the rates. He didn't cut them.
No,
or
I'm not
anything.
surprised. I think holding the rates at this point was the right thing to do.
Let's pivot over 1 second to see what's going on over in Mexico. Just pulled up the article specifically. It says that Trump pauses tariffs on Mexico for 1 month. Listen, this is a trial. This is a trial. This is not going to be, nope, you're not going to pull the rug up under me. See how smart our president is? Literally. And this came out literally just 4 minutes ago. It says he agreed to pause tariffs on Mexico for 1 month after Claudia Sheinbaum, who is Jewish, running Mexico, agrees to send troops to the border. Let's deep dive. It says that Trump is announced he is pausing U.S. tariffs targeting imports from Mexico for a month after the country's president agreed to send 10,000 troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. What do you know? So tariffs do work. Everybody that was over there talking crap, talking nonsense, saying that, oh man, Trump should never do it. Now look, don't come back over to the conservative side trying to act like, oh, you was already for it all in the first place. Don't come over here acting like you was rocking with us from the beginning, because you wasn't. Now we can stem the flow of fentanyl through the border because we got over 10,000 troops along with our own U.S. troops that's being deployed to the border. Oh, now we can start to get some results. So you telling me that they couldn't stop this all along? But no, it takes a strong hand. Go ahead, Justin, over there in Canada. Let's do it your way. So we going to pause. We going to pause tariffs for a month. We going to reevaluate what's going on. And then we going to make some adjustments. Venezuela bent the knee. They sent our troops back. Colombia bent the knee. They did what they were supposed to do. Mexico is going to bend the knee. We not going to play no games. Canada, y'all want to make this difficult? You want to make it difficult, Canada? Goes on to say, Mr. Trump wrote on Truth Social on Monday that he and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum agreed to immediately pause. Hey, and let me tell you what the difference is. She wasn't being vocal like them over in Canada. She was like, you know what? Let's hunker down. Let's figure out what we can solve. We're going to go to the negotiation table. Maybe women are better leaders than Canadian leaders. Not the United States, but then Canadian leaders. Agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs. Just had to put a timeline on it. For a 1 month period. The pause, he said, will allow negotiations headed by the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent. That dude is a G. He a beast. And Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives of Mexico. The president wrote that he had a very friendly conversation with Sheinbaum in which she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our country. Ooh, so you know what that means, right, y'all? Philadelphia, y'all about to go through a drought. It's about to be a lot of scratching people on the Philadelphia streets. See, y'all not paying attention to the repercussions of this. The price of the brick just went up. See, that's where the real tariff is going to come in. It's going to come in because y'all can't get some of the stuff that y'all was getting illegally anymore. Huh? Philadelphia, it's about to be a lot of scratching. I need a fix. I got them cheeseburgers, man. It's going to be a lot of withdrawals on the street of Philadelphia. We're going to fix y'all. We're going to indirectly fix the people on the streets of Philadelphia. Indirectly fix the people on Kensington Street. About to be shut down. All of the fiends. They're going to have to find either a new drug or they're going to have to make some adjustments. No more fentanyl on the streets. No more. We done with that. Not China pissed off. Because China was the ones that was allowing for, they was sending it over here. And then they going to try to tell us, oh, that's y'all problem. Okay. All right. Tariffs on everybody. Tariffs. Tariffs. Goes on to say, unveiled the details of the deal. Scheinbaum unveiled the details of the deal in an earlier post on X, saying that the U.S. is committed to working to prevent trafficking of high-powered weapons to Mexico, that our teams will begin working on two fronts, security and trade. She wrote in Spanish that Mexico will immediately reinforce the northern border with 10,000 members of the National Guard to prevent trafficking from Mexico to the United States. Oh, well, guess what that means? Guess what that means? It means that the cartels is going to be mad. But Mexico going to have to deal with that. Not us over here at the U.S. side. That's your problem. That's a you problem, not a us problem. Nothing else to make on that. So, we already seeing progress. I like what we seeing here. That's what happens when you have strong men in power. That's what happens when you have people that stand on business. That's what happens when you start to get results and you stand on business. Now you bending the knee. Now you got to make the adjustments. Now we're going to do things that's in the best interest of Americans. Now we're going to save y'all lives. Somebody's son, somebody's daughter just got saved. Their lives were saved because of Trump. Somebody's daughter and somebody's son who was going to OD on Fenty, they need to be thanking Trump. They don't even know it yet. Trump did the precog. He proactively prevented your daughter and your son, and you a raging liberal, and you wanted to vote for Kamala Harris. You still don't even realize that he saved your daughter and your son's life. And you want to sit here and complain about the things that we doing? That's the one problem with doing preventative, having success and doing preventative maintenance and doing preventative things to prevent certain things from coming over here is because you'll never get the credit. If I let you suffer and then I save you, you'll thank me. But if I never allow for you to go through it, you just going to feel entitled. And that's part of the problem. That's the reason why we needed Trump. Honestly, this is the reason why we needed Trump. And I hate to say this, we needed him to lose. Well, we needed the election to get stolen in 2020. We needed the election to get stolen in 2020. We needed that. We did need that. It was a good thing. Because think about it. What we be is appreciative. What we even consider liberals for office still, if they hadn't messed up so bad, and we seen the difference between Trump's first administration and the Biden administration, we wouldn't be able to appreciate all of the preventative measures that he's taken to present or to protect United States citizens from all of the things that could happen to them. Ain't that crazy that we had to suffer in order to truly appreciate the president of the United States of America today? Because you never would have appreciated it, right? Because your son would have never been in a position of where he needed them cheeseburgers. He had them cheeseburgers. You know what I'm saying? And now that your son don't need cheeseburgers, you don't even realize that he just saved his life. All through a tariff, saved his life. I got people not cussing inside of the chat. They know how to speak more appropriately to their wives and their daughters now instead of calling her a little funky hussy because we put tariffs in the chat. I'm taking credit for that. If Trump take credit for the Fenty, I'm taking credit for your daughter.